We've got some really fun things to cover this week, Carmela.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, because we're going to talk about Primitivo, which comes from one of our most favorite and beautiful parts of Italy.
Brings me back already.
I know. And we're also going to talk about 25-cent sample pours at Olive Garden.
What?
I know. This is going to be fun.
Are you holding out?
Hello, fellow pear heads, and welcome to the Wine Pair Podcast. I'm Joe, your sommelier of reasonably priced wine, and this is my wife and my wine pairing partner in crime, Carmela.
Hi there.
And we are the Wine Pair.
Am I a pear head too, then?
We are all pear heads.
I mean, there are different, body types, pear body types.
And everybody has a pear-shaped head. Okay.
I guess so. I don't know. That's just what came to mind.
I like it. I like where you're going.
Oh, boy.
If you're new to our podcast, here's what you can expect. If you love wine and want to find great wines at affordable prices and you want to expand your wine horizons, she's got her head in her hands right now, and you want to have some laughs and fun while doing it, then you're in the right place. Each week we explore a different wine varietal, style, brand, or region of the winemaking world, and we learn about what makes them worth knowing about.
Do you think people know that we're doing this at a later time than usual?
And in our basement, as always.
No, that's
And it's hotter than hell. Okay, right. And then we taste 2 to 3 of those wines that are reasonably priced to let you know if they're worth your hard-earned money. If that feels good to you, then we're happy you're here. And we're proud to say that Decanter Magazine calls us fun, irreverent,
chatty,
and entertaining. I mean, I just like that you're kind of fired up. It's later than usual. You've been a little bit champing at the bit. It's champing, not chomping. And now that we're in it, you just want to.
It sounds way better if you say chomping. Champing's weird. What does champing mean?
I don't know.
Chomping at the bit, champing. Like a horse bit.
Okay, whatever. Anyway.
I don't know.
Okay, Carmela, we're using our first tribe name this week. I know you noticed that because you talked about pair of shaped bodies and heads. And a big thank you to Masked and Uncorked, I can almost say that, on Instagram for the name. And if we use the name you gave us, we'll give you the option of being on the podcast. So for those of you who have given us names, just stay tuned. We'll reach out to you. And the rest of you, you can feel free to keep giving us names and ideas. And if we use yours, we'll give you the option of being on the pod. How about that?
Love it.
Okay, so Carmela, today's subject, which is another Italian wine adventure.
Woo!
I'm a little surprised that we didn't do this episode before our trip to Italy a few months ago.
I mean, wow, shocking.
Yeah, because we were heading to Puglia to visit your family, and Primitivo.
We've never done Primitivo.
No, we've done Zinfandel, more on that later, but Primitivo is a Pugliese wine.
What is wrong with us?
We could have prepped ourselves better for the trip.
Right.
But we didn't.
That's okay.
It's my fault. It's my fault.
No, we're going to go back.
Better late than never, right?
Maybe that just means that we need to go back.
We will go definitely going back for sure. But before we talk about Primitivo, we need to get to wine in the news this week.
No, what is that?
I'll have some sound. I'll have some sound and stuff.
Good. You don't need me to try and make it up.
No. I always like it when you make it up, but we'll make it even more dramatic. How about that? Okay. This week's article comes from USA Today and was written by Greta Cross. And the article is entitled, "Does Olive Garden offer 25-cent wine samples?"
What?
Yes, the rumors are true. Can you believe this?
We are going straight there.
Okay.
We have a reason to go there now. One.
Now we have, it's the only reason to go there. Okay, a bunch of things to unpack, just from the title alone. But let me give you a quick synopsis, okay? Quick synopsis. First, this is not a new thing, so I'm not sure why they're writing an article about it now because it isn't really news, but Olive Garden will give free 1-ounce pours of wine to people over 21, thankfully, just people over 21, and depending on the laws in the state they're in, they may give it to you for free, or they may charge you 25 cents. So in some places you can get it for
1 ounce?
Well, so here's the thing.
No, that's kind of amazing.
I know. A normal wine pour, just so everybody's clear, is usually about 5 to 6 ounces. So if you're smart, like a TikToker that Greta mentions in her article, you can get 6 ounces of wine for either free or $1.50.
Okay, so there's not a maximum amount of tries.
Well, so that's part of it. There's no stated limit. on how many samples.
Kind of like getting tastes of ice cream flavors.
Totally what it is. It's totally what it is. Now, I assume at some point they may cut you off, or shame may cut you off, or embarrassment, but they don't state that there is a limit.
Oh, I think there are plenty of people who would not feel shameful. And they would just keep tasting and tasting.
I agree. So anyway, I thought we'd talk about the whole 1 ounce pour thing, and then we can talk some more about maybe some wine tasting strategies if you go to Olive Garden, right?
Okay.
And just an editorial comment, don't yuck somebody else's yum, but as Italian Americans, we would really not go to Olive Garden. It's not a place that we'd go to.
No.
But now that they have 25-cent pours,
we'll go there for the wine.
We're going to go for the wine. And by the way, if you like Olive Garden, hallelujah, more power to you. We're fine with that.
Of course.
Okay.
You're still a pearhead.
You're still a pearhead. And a fun fact, in 2006, Olive Garden sold the most wine of any restaurant chain in America.
Ounce by ounce.
Yes, ounce by, even at 25 cents a pour. Now, we don't have any current data, but I have to believe that they're still likely at this top of this list. Now, the 1 ounce pour is awesome. A local wine bar here in Seattle called Chez Finney that we've talked about before offers 1 ounce, 3 ounce, and 5 ounce pours. So, Carmela, tell the people at home about your experience with 1 ounce pours.
Oh, it was great. I just had, I think, 2 or 3 samples, and I don't even remember the cost because it's like a vending machine. You just put in your card.
Yeah.
And it just
You don't even have
out.
to talk to anybody. Nobody's serving you 1 ounces. You're serving yourself.
Right. You just go up and you push a button. It is like those, soda fountain drink things.
Totally.
Yeah. So it was a great time, and they had a whole variety of flavors, types of wines.
Tons.
And I just remember having a couple, and I really didn't need a full glass of wine anyway that evening. And there were some bites too. And that was really fun, and that's all I remember.
Yeah, it was great though, right? So it
was so fun, but it was not 25 cents an ounce.
No, it was like $3 or something.
Yeah.
It was more expensive.
Yeah.
But the 1 ounce pour idea is awesome. Like you said, it's like a taste spoon, right? It's just a sample, and 25 cents is a ridiculous price. Just don't go to Utah.
We're gonna go just
for the wine.
To see that. I'm serious.
I wonder if we can just do wine and breadsticks.
Is there one
Can we
around
do wine
here?
and breadsticks?
Free dinner.
Yes, I think there was one up at Northgate. I don't know.
I don't know if it's still there, though.
Okay, can I just say one thing about don't go to Olive Garden in Utah and expect to get 25-cent pours? Now, I'm not sure if this is still the case, but many moons ago, this is like 30 years ago, I'm dating myself. I'm not dating myself, I'm married.
Oh, wow. I was like, who are you dating?
No, I'm dating myself.
That was confusing.
Anyway, now I've lost my train of thought. I was in a singing group. We went to BYU. We were in Provo. We went to the Olive Garden, and I asked what they had on tap, and the lady looked at me like I had 3 heads.
Because they don't sell alcohol?
They don't serve no alcohol in Provo. I don't know if they do in other places in Utah, but at least 30 years ago, they were like, buddy, you're in the wrong.
Dry Olive Garden.
The people were lovely. They just don't want you to drink, okay?
It's just a dry
We wouldn't do super well there. We wouldn't do well. We couldn't do the podcast.
Fine.
Okay.
We just would not go to Olive Garden.
Right. And we wouldn't do the podcast. We'd do something else.
Right.
Now let's talk about potential strategies of wine tasting samples at Olive Garden just based on these 1 ounce pours.
Okay, is it something you have to do like at the beginning of the evening only?
I don't think there's a lot of rules. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of rules to this.
Our strategy is going to be...
You probably should start early because you're going to have to be served. And so if you start too late, you may just run out of time.
True.
Okay, so strategy number 1, I call the discerning sipper. So I looked at the wines that they had at Olive Garden, and I think they're going to have some local varieties, but I think most of the time they're going to have the same wines at pretty much every Olive Garden. So this discerning sipper, I would choose between some American varietals and an Italian wine that's probably on the menu. Now they carry Chateau Saint Michel wines. So I would say right off
over the country?
Yeah, so we like Chateau Saint Michel. I would say 1 ounce pour the hell out of those guys.
Wow.
Like do that all you want. And then I would focus on other red wines. So they have a Chianti. A lot of times they'll have a Chianti available. So I just try it. And then I might give the Beringer Merlot or the Mondavi Cabernet a try if that's something that you're into. But I personally would avoid in this tasting strategy, don't go for any of the sweet wines. Stay away from the Meiomi Pinot Noir. It's just a sugary, kind of crummy Pinot Noir. Disappointing. So that's strategy 1. Strategy 2 is totally on the other side. It's the sweet tooth. They call it the sweet tooth strategy. So you're going to do something completely different. You're going to focus on the sweet wines, and they have like 2 white Moscato wines. They have a sweet pink Moscato. They have a sweet red Roscato, and they have a Porta Vita red blend, which is only 11.5% alcohol.
Why do we need a strategy?
But I'm just saying, maybe this would be helpful if you want to go. Is this real? Is this dumb? Do you not like this?
No.
I'm just saying you could have different. Like maybe you don't want to. Okay, the third strategy.
I'm thinking about like pairing it with food. That's what I thought the strategy was.
No, the strategy is get as much out of your 1 ounce pours as possible. And if you have a theme, maybe you can also feel better about it too. Like, hey, I just want to try all your sweet wines.
It's your own wine tasting experience at Olive Garden.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
your own flight. Your wine flight.
Your own wine flight. Now, I do have a third one that may be controversial. And this is called the cruise ship approach. And this is like going to Italy on a cruise ship. And in this strategy, you try all of their Italian wines, the Chianti, the sweet wines, everything, regardless. But know that you're probably only you're not getting the top Italian wines when you do this. But it's fine. And I call it the cruise ship strategy because it's kind of like going to Italy on a cruise ship. You're going into like ports. You're there for a few hours.
Getting a little taste.
Just getting a little sample.
Just getting a little ounce.
Getting a little
of
sample.
Italy each time.
Exactly. So that's why I call it that. I don't know.
I like it.
Well, but what would your strategy be?
Well, I don't know. I think I would probably space my tastes out.
Space your tastes.
Right. I would have whatever I'm eating during my, antipasti time. I would have a certain wine. Then I would look at what I was eating to pair it with my food.
You're much smarter than me.
I don't know if we're going to eat there.
But, I like that approach because with 1 ounce pours, you can try a lot of different wines during your different courses.
That's why I'm thinking some of those, you wouldn't want like a Moscato at
the whole time.
Right. Not especially like with dinner. Or maybe you would, but I wouldn't.
I think I think your strategy is the best.
I don't know.
You can go, strategy 4 is the Carmela strategy.
Yeah, well... Okay, back to the pear heads real quick. I just want, for the record, I understand that it's PAIR. not PEAR. Not pear the fruit. Right. But right away when we said pear heads,
that's what you thought.
I was like a fruit. But I knew it wasn't that. So that's just for the record.
Ironically, grapes are
it's a homonym
fruit.
or a homophone.
Homophone. Hominid. Maybe a hominid even. I don't know. Okay, now
just wanted to clear that up.
Can we get back to Olive Garden for just 1 second?
I just wanted Mast and Uncorked to know that I knew it was PAIR and not the fruit PEAR.
My guess is they appreciate that.
Okay, good.
They're very nice to us. Okay, now... If you have your own approaches to wine at Olive Garden, your sample, or if you decide like, what the hell is going on? I'm going to Olive Garden. Please share with us. We would love to hear what your approach is, what your experience is, and if they cut you off. We want to know if they cut you off at any point.
Yeah, no, we might try and experience this.
Okay,
I am intrigued.
I like that you're intrigued by it. She's not often intrigued by anything that I offer.
There's no other way you'd ever get me to an Olive Garden. So, I mean, not that you're begging to go, but
no, we're going.
Okay,
maybe we're going tonight.
What?
It's so late. I don't know if we're going to make it. Okay.
Right.
Now, again, if you have any feedback on this section of the podcast about wine in the news, let us know that too. We want to know if you like it because that's what we want. But you know what, Carmela? We're not here to talk about 25-cent wine samples. We're here to talk about a wine that, although it's very Italian, you probably won't find at Olive Garden, and that's the great wine from Puglia called Primitivo. And we have 2 Primitivo wines to taste and review today to see if they're worth your hard-earned money. But first...
you got to do our shameless plug.
That's right. So thank you for listening to us and for supporting our show. And if you haven't had the chance to do so yet, now would be an awesome time to follow or subscribe to our podcast and leave us a nice rating and review to help us grow our listeners. And thank you so much to all of you who have done that. And you can also follow us on Instagram at The Wine Pair Podcast and on Blue Sky. You can contact us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com, and you can sign up for our email newsletter there, which will be coming out at the beginning of the month. And you can also visit our shop wine and shop accessories sections where you can find links to buy the wines that we rate as buys or great gift choices for wine lovers and all that kind of stuff. And we want to make, like we said, we want to make content that you care about. So send us a note or DM us and give us some feedback or let us know if there's wines you want want us to try or winemaking areas of the world you're curious about. And you can also email us at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com. And a couple of shout outs this week. Shout out to Ted G, who reached out to us via the website and let us know that he tried a much lighter Douro called Osobio that we're going to have to try. And he gave us a suggestion to see if we can do an episode on Saperavi, which would be a really fun wine to explore. So we're going to look into that.
Okay.
A shout out to Justin L., who's been inspiring us for many episodes, and one's coming up next week, Justin, also from the website, and he gave us another idea for a name for the tribe. A shout out to Vegas Des on YouTube, who liked our layer cake wine episode. Shout out to our friends Tips to Live By, they're going to give Chablis a shot after last week's episode. And thanks to you who have liked and responded to the series that we're doing on Instagram called The Wine Drinker's Maturity Curve. I think those are kind of fun. We'll keep those going. And a shout out to Timmy, to Timmy's Vino.
Timmy.
He gave us a name for the tribe that we're not going to be able to use. It's R-rated.
Oh, wow.
Not even R-rated. It might be R+ rated.
Will you whisper it in my ear
No,
later?
I probably won't.
Oh,
and as we
seriously?
unless you're in the mood. But as we do every week, we'll tell you someone we think you should recommend the Wine Pair podcast to, because the best way for us to grow listeners is when you tell your family and friends about us. And this week, we want you to recommend us to anyone who is heading to Italy, particularly Puglia, and the great cities in that region like Bari and Lecce and Ostuni and Alberobello and Polignano Amari and Brindisi and others, or anyone who's going to Olive Garden.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, because
Italy's not in your future right now.
Make Olive Garden.
Can be.
I agree. Okay, Carmela, let's talk about just what the Primitivo is.
Okay.
Now, as I mentioned this before, in case you're wondering, Primitivo is genetically the same as Zinfandel, so there you go. However, the roots of Primitivo are actually Croatian. So maybe we should have called this episode The Croatian Wine Adventure. And I guess we need to go to Croatia.
I am down.
Yeah, so DNA studies confirmed that Primitivo is genetically identical to the Croatian grape called, I cannot pronounce this, Čerenak Kastelanski. And it's also known as Krastošija in Montenegro. Now, I screwed up the pronunciations. If anybody really knows how to pronounce them, let us know. We want to know that kind of stuff. We like the feedback.
Right.
Even if you say that we're not funny, it's okay. Primitivo is thought to have been introduced to Italy's Puglia region in the 18th century, and wouldn't you know it, monks are said to have brought it across the Adriatic Sea from Dalmatia.
Nice job.
I mean, I'm telling you, if you want to know about the history of wine and beer making, just follow the monks.
Right.
It's not often that we would say that, but we're saying it now. Now, the name Primitivo, she stopped and gave me a weird look, is said to originate from the Latin word primitivus, which means roughly first life. And so Primitivo is, as you would guess from that clue, an early ripening grape. And this is important in a place like Puglia, which, as we experienced, Carmela, can be pretty hot.
Right.
I mean, hot. It was hot.
It was.
Early ripening for this grape helps it avoid autumn rains. It ensures that the grapes reach full maturity and high sugar levels, which create the bold wine that it's known to be. And this also leads to high alcohol content in the finished product. It's not unusual, and we have some of our beloved Turley Zinfandels. It's not unusual for a Primitivo or a Zinfandel to be 15% or higher in alcohol.
Wow.
And that's why Zin is a great...
You only need an ounce.
Exactly, to get a buzz. And that's why Zin is a great wine for California, because it can take those hot weathers. Hot weathers.
Wow.
I don't know. I got caught on what I was supposed to say.
And you're looking at me like, come on,
temps.
back me up.
I should have said temperatures.
Right.
But I said weathers.
I knew what you're talking about.
I can't think on the fly anymore. Evidently, Carmela, one of the challenges with Primitivo is that the grapes can ripen unevenly. So winemakers have to do a lot of hand harvesting. They have to do a lot of sorting in the winemaking process. And in addition, the vines can grow a ton of grapes. So they have to really carefully manage them. There's a lot of work to prune the vines and manage the harvest. And then they also, in the next section on the specific wines we chose, we'll talk about the Albarello vine training system, which should not be confused with Alberobello, which is the beautiful town that we talked about near Bari. Anyway, with the Trulli houses and all that kind of stuff. And you'll see it in the cover art for this episode. And those are amazing. Anyway, because of high yields, a lot of Primitivo was made into into inexpensive bulk wines with super high alcohol levels and lots of tannin, and it was often used as a blending wine in places like Tuscany. And so that reputation of being kind of this workhorse wine, we talk about that, maybe you don't want to be a workhorse, stuck with Primitivo for a while. And on a side note, I'll say this because we have Italian relatives that came from Italy, and they often made wine. They kind of made wine in this way. It wasn't super careful. They were making these big, highly extracted, big alcohol wines. And even sometimes, your dad told me this, but sometimes they would pour spirits, like brandy or whiskey into the wine barrels to stop the fermentation.
Oh my goodness.
So that's why you get these really rough.
Would that evaporate out of it?
No, it would just kill the yeast, and then it would have this funky taste. Back to Primitivo and overcoming its bad reputation. Like a lot of Italian wines, Primitivo continued this rough patch in reputation before rebounding pretty recently into a more respected wine. In fact, in the 1990s, Primitivo was at such a low point that the EU offered financial incentives, you can think of that as bribes, to growers to pull up their vines to decrease the volume.
That sounds a little dirty.
That is not just a bribe. That's like blackmail. Pull up your vines. I'd like to see your grapes. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Anyway, that went south really fast.
Yeah.
Now, in the early 2000s, helped by the discovery that Primitivo and Zinfandel were the same grape, there was a renaissance. We like, Italy, you like a renaissance. Mm-hmm. And higher quality wines began to be created. And today, Puglia is the 6th largest producer of DOC and DOCG wines in Italy. And again, those are the highest designations. Now, there are several appellations for Primitivo. The two that we have today are both from Salento. It's an IGT, which is technically a lower classification, but it's actually great wines come from AGT. But Carmela, Salento is near Lecce.
Woo!
Which is an awesome.
Beautiful.
So they call it the Florence of the South, and now we know why. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you something else. Maybe we shouldn't say this because Rick Steves hasn't made Southern Italy blow up yet, but Lecce is amazing.
It is.
And there were not a ton of people there.
No, I don't know why.
It's amazing.
I mean, it's not like a tiny little town either.
No, it's a big city.
Yeah.
It has this major arena. It's amazing.
Great destination spot.
It was, stunning. We loved it. Mm-hmm. Okay, the largest appellation is Primitivo di Manduria, which is closer to the city of Taranto in Puglia. And another important DOC is Gioia de Colle. And there are 8 DOC zones for Primitivo across Italy, including one in Campania, but it is considered a Pugliese wine primarily. Mm-hmm. Now, Primitivo, if you haven't had it, but you have had Zinfandel, you kind of know about it. It's a big wine, but it needs actually this high alcohol to balance it with the tannins and the big fruit. It can be really juicy. It can be really exciting. And also what I would say too, along with the red, we mentioned this before, but on our trip to Italy, we actually had a bunch of rosatos. That's the name for rosé in Italian, made of Primitivo, and they were excellent.
They were really good.
And really nice to have on hot days with seafood and that kind of stuff. Great wines. But that's enough background, Carmela. We need to talk about the wines that we chose for this episode, don't we?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as usual, the sir, I like that. They often often talk. They say, "Sir, can we see your grapes?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Wow, pull up your vines.
Pull up your vines. As usual, the wines we have chosen for this episode are under $25 each, and both of them should be relatively easy to find because I bought them both at wine.com.
And you might be able to get an ounce of them for just 25 cents at your local Olive Garden.
I think you should go to Olive Garden and say, "Do you have any Primitivo? What's
they
that?
Won't,
oh,
right?
Zinfandel? What? Well, okay, well, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe you ask the maitre d', the manager. You go and talk to the manager. Mm-hmm. Now, and then I'll just say this. Zinfandel is pretty easy to find. Primitivo shouldn't be too tough, but you're going to have to look for a place with a decent wine selection or a decent Italian wine selection. And always go to your local wine merchant and ask, because they can get it for you. The first wine we're going to drink is the 2023 Masseria Veli Orion Primitivo. Orion looks like Orion, but in Italian it'd be Orion. It's an IGT, as I mentioned before, but as proof that the designation of IGT really doesn't have anything to do with quality, this wine has 91 ratings from Robert Parker, wine enthusiast, and Vinius. So there you go. The text sheet says the soils are clay with limestone rock. They use malolactic fermentation in stainless steel tanks, and then they age the wine for 6 months in barriques. Those are smaller oak barrels, and 3 months in bottles. So they get some oak exposure, but not a ton, and they age them not for a ton of time either, only about 9 months. Now, a little bit about the winery. In 1999, the Falvo family acquired a 128-acre rundown property located in the sunny and fertile Salento region in the southeastern peninsula or heel of Italy. But they came from Tuscany, and they came to rejuvenate the vineyard. And then back to something I mentioned earlier, the wines are cultivated in the ancient albarello or bush-trained method, sometimes called head-trained or goblet-trained, and this allows the vines to get a lot of sun, but they also get this like umbrella of vegetation to protect the berries. So if you've ever seen grapevines, like a lot of times we're used to seeing them trellised, but if you see them and they look more like a tree, like a little tree, that's bush training.
Oh. Okay.
And the winery has been certified organic since 2005.
Nice.
So if that's important to you, you might want to look for this wine. The next wine we're going to drink is the 2023 Castello Monaci Pilùna Primitivo. And this one has a rating from James Suckling, and you're not going to guess what it was.
90.
You're right, but we're not going to hold that against it. The name Pilùna means clay pot, specifically an ancient container used to store water or wine. And according to the winery, it's 100% Primitivo grown from vineyards surrounding the ancient Castello Monaci estate. The soils are dry clay, volcanic gravel, and limestone. The vines are forced deep in search of water, so they have low yields and rich, fragrant wines. The harvest is done by hand, and it's done prior to dawn, so they're getting up early to pick those grapes, to show their grapes, and preserve sugar levels and avoid the hot sunlight. And the grapes are vinified in small stainless steel tanks prior to 6 months of aging in 75% stainless steel and 25% second and third use French oak. So they're using oak, only 25%, but it's used oak. So it's going to not have it's going to add
an intense of an oak flavor.
Exactly. It's probably going to be a really nice balance. The winery is also in Salento, and so it's in the same area as the Masseria wine. The Castello Monaci estate is a 16th century castle with medieval foundations, once run by, you guessed it, Basiliani monks who maintained a long winemaking tradition.
Love it.
I'll also say that we were amazed by the number of castles that we saw in Puglia. Like crazy.
Amazing.
In the middle of towns that you've never heard of. It is supposed to be a really beautiful estate. It's very popular for weddings. And the winery is managed by Italy's largest wine company called Gruppo Italiano Vino. And saying that they're the largest wine company in Italy is saying something because they make a lot of wine in Italy. Right. But I think that's enough information, Carmela. I think it's time for us to start drinking wine.
1 ounce at a time.
1 ounce at a time. So if you have 1 ounce pours in front of you, if you have a Primitivo, if you have a Zinfandel, or if you have any wine in front of you, drink along with us. And we'll be right back to try our first wine.
All right.
Okay, we're back. We're ready to try our first wine. This is the Masseria, or maybe it's Masseria Veli Orion Primitivo. It's from Puglia, Italy. It's a 2023 vintage, $17.97 at wine.com. So a good price.
Yeah.
14% alcohol, 100% Primitivo. And again, this one has a 91 from Robert Parker, wine enthusiast, and Vinius, and Vivino gave it a 4.1, which is a good rating. But let's talk about the color first. You know, I was a little surprised on the pour because it's very burgundy red. It's pretty translucent.
Yeah,
like it's not super dark.
It's red.
It's red.
Yeah, it's definitely a red wine. I know, surprise, but no, it doesn't have hints of much else like purple or
no.
It's not super inky, like you said. It's a little bit light, almost a touch like a Pinot.
That's what I was thinking. I thought that on first pour, and I do think it looks like it's got a little viscosity in it. You know, it's got a lot of alcohol. So
yes,
what do you
smell it? I can smell the alcohol on it.
Yeah, you can, but it's fruity. I think it smells fruity.
Sure. Yeah, there's some cherry and some,
for sure.
I think even like, I feel like there's a little bit of tartness, like pomegranate.
Yeah, I can get that. I'm feeling a little plum, but it does have this perfumey alcohol.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like a little potpourri. It's flowery. I think it's got some rose on it, like rose petal.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely fragrant. Like there's a lot.
Very fragrant.
There's a big bouquet on this guy.
And maybe just like a little touch of, maybe it's in my head, but a little like touch of like tobacco or something.
Yeah. I mean, I can get that for sure. But it's funny because I was trying to like sense if it, because it's not super rich of a scent. I would say, because even when I was like, is it like the pomegranate? It's kind of like a fresh pomegranate. I'm wondering if it's going to be a little tart, actually.
Well, let's try it and find out. Yeah, I would say it's got tartness for sure.
Kind of a tart cherry.
I agree.
I mean, almost kind of underripe.
Yeah, it's pretty tart.
Yeah.
And it has this, am getting kind of this tobacco taste on the end of it.
I am too now, a little bit. Kind of a little bit of a sweetness, like a sweet tobacco, like somebody's pipe.
I agree.
You know, like the old fashioned, or maybe they still use them, but just like somebody packing their pipe with tobacco. And there's a little bit of a hint of sweetness on that.
I agree. Now these, I did do a good job. I opened them up early, so I think that they've gotten a little air. They are on the kind of, I didn't quite follow the 2020, but I pulled them right out of the wine closet before we started, so they're not warm. But I think that it's young because I think you can taste the alcohol. Like it's not terribly off balance. It's nice. But I think you can tell it's got a little cherry cordial taste to it.
Yes, it does. It is a kind of like a cherry cordial, and actually even a bit of like
Mocha,
cocoa.
chocolate.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Like a cacao.
And it's tannic.
Yes.
It has a lot of tannin on the end. Like it's cleaning right off the tongue. What food would you pair with this wine?
I think this would be good with a lot of things. I mean, you could definitely do, I'm almost thinking like pork chops or, you could obviously you could do steak, like a nice steak would be good with this for sure. But you could do like pork ribs or beef ribs. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking something like that.
I like where you're going. I do. I think barbecue. It's a steakhouse wine to me. Like I think you could have this at any steakhouse and you'd be really happy. Fatty meats.
Yes.
I'm having trouble expressing myself.
No, I do think that's why like a nice like barbecue ribs would be a really good.
And you said beef ribs, right?
Beef ribs too. Pork ribs. For some reason, I had pork on the brain for this too.
Oh, okay.
But I did say beef ribs, and I think they would both be really good.
Really good, and I think it would hold up great to like a barbecue sauce, even a spicy barbecue sauce. I think spicy foods would be good with this too. It's something about the sweetness in the taste would combine really well, I think, with some spiciness.
What's the beef and broccoli? Is it called beef and broccoli?
Beef broccoli or broccoli beef. It's called broccoli beef.
Beef would be really good with this.
Okay.
Don't you think? It's kind of saucy.
It's saucy and almost like sometimes there's a little sweetness to the sauce too.
And a little spice, too. I think that would be really good with this.
I think so too. Well, let's rate it. So as a reminder, folks at home, on our rating scale, the Pairheads,
PAIR heads.
We rate on a scale of 1 to 10. We don't give half points. 7 and above means we would buy it. 4 below means we're going to pour it down the sink. And a 5 or 6 means we'll drink it and finish it, but we're not going to buy it. But if you served it to us, we're totally happy. So what rating are you going to give this wine?
I'm going to give it a 7. I'm tempted to even maybe give it an 8 because it's a pretty nice wine. And
that's unusual, ladies and gentlemen, for Carmela, because she's not a red wine enthusiast.
And
often.
Maybe I'm a little Puglia biased.
Ooh,
because
her family is
but I just think it's it's definitely, sometimes red wines are just too much for me.
Yeah.
But I can picture myself drinking this and enjoying it. And I like the bottle. I think it would be a good little gift. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about it. Like, we don't like the big kind of flabby or big like Cabernet, like punch you in the face wines. This one has some boldness, but what I always like about Primitivo Zinfandels, they're juicy.
Yes.
This one has a lot of nice juiciness to it.
And nice with food.
Yeah.
What are you giving it?
I'm giving it a 7, but what is your final score?
I'm going to give it a 7. Let's keep it at a 7
But
for
you
now.
reserve the right to change your mind.
Right.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break and we're going to try our next wine.
Okay.
Okay, we're back and we're ready to try our second wine. This is the Castello Monaci Pilùna Primitivo, also from Puglia, Italy. Also 2023 vintage, also $17.97.
Oh.
So good prices. Also at wine.com, also 14% alcohol, also 100% Primitivo. But in this one, Sucky James Suckling gave it a 90, and the Vino had a 3.8 rating on it. But Carmela, what are you noticing about the color?
Oh, it's pretty similar. Yeah,
very similar.
I mean, not just super dark. Like it actually, when you see a color of wine, you can almost a little bit predict what it's going to taste like.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
to me, this is a ruby. This is like ruby colored.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Might be. I thought on the pour it was a skosh darker than the other one. So that's why I'm saying more ruby than red. But not, I mean, again, it's translucent.
Yeah, pretty.
What are you smelling?
Ooh, it's nice.
I really like the whiff. I'm getting that cherry, but almost strawberry.
Yeah, there's something a little bit different on this one than the other one. I can't figure it out yet. Let me think.
Ooh, when you swirl it, I'm getting earthy, like mushroomy, earthy kind of dirt or clay smells. No, you're not getting that?
No, I mean, maybe a little.
You're trying to be nice.
No, I'm just.
No, you're not a.
There's something I can't figure. It's a little licoricey to me, like red licorice.
Oh, I like that.
I don't know.
I'm almost getting a little bit of black licorice too.
Okay, a little bit of spice on that, maybe.
Yeah, there's a little bit. There's something on it. Maybe that sweet tobacco again.
A little jammy too, though. I feel like it's a little bit. I don't, or even like syrup, like a strawberry syrup. Do you think?
I know what you're saying. It does have that rich. It has a richness, but a sugariness in the smell. I actually had your dad would probably not agree with me, but almost had a little bit of Nebbiolo smell to me.
Oh, okay. Oh, why would he not agree?
Because I think he would say, no, it smells totally different. But I'm getting a little bit of that whiff of it.
Okay.
Well, let's try it and see what we think. Okay, you know what's really interesting about this wine right off the bat? The feel of the wine was thicker to me. Almost like when it hit my lips, it felt thicker. And that comes through in the taste. It's rounder. It's juicy, but it's not tart like the first one.
No.
It's much rounder.
Yeah, it doesn't have those edges. Like it's not as tart or like, sometimes you almost have a little, and with the tannins too, it's like a little sticky or a little bit. This is, I would say you're right. It's a little rounder.
Smoother. Maybe this is a little bit of that used oak influence where it's kind of rounding it out a little bit. So it's not as tart tasting, but it's fruity. It's very juicy, very fruity. And to me, it maybe even does have a little bit of not Barolo or Barbaresco, but maybe a little bit of Nebbiolo to it, if I'm not totally crazy.
I think it's another good food wine, too. What would you eat with it?
Again, this one's really versatile. I'm getting cherry on it. I am
definitely cherry.
And a little bit of cherry Twizzler, like a little, almost Pinot-y a little bit in its taste as well. But back to food, grilled foods would be fantastic.
Really good. Yeah.
And I actually think where the first one, it's interesting because this is around kind of maybe a little bit more complexity and a totally red meat wine. But I also think you do really well with like chicken and white meats. You had mentioned pork, like a nice pork tenderloin.
What about like wings?
Totally.
I think it would be really good, with football season coming up.
Yes. This is a great football
wine.
I think so too. And really like if you're doing tailgating,
it'd be really nice.
Really good.
Yeah, really fun too.
And it's a good wine. Like it's look, I think this is a wine that you could serve at a nice dinner party.
Right.
But I also think it's a wine that you could have in a
solo
red cup. I think you could. I think it would be great.
Wow, I'm shocked you just said that.
I know. You should be shocked.
I mean, the funny thing is it's kind of a fancy bottle. Like the label, it's funny we're talking about tailgating because it is kind of an elegant looking bottle.
For sure.
But I just feel like it would pair really well with some pear heads. It would pair well with pear heads.
Yes. What else would it pair well with?
No, but like with tailgating foods.
What about like a bratwurst would be great? Like a hot like a Polish spicy. Oh, I love them. I love them. But this would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a really it's a really nice wine.
They're both really good. Like they're both like solid wines, I feel like.
I agree. So, what rating are you going to give this wine?
I'm going to to give it a 7 again. I know I'm just being like very consistent here, but I feel like they are just both solid. I just don't know if I'd buy one over the other.
So 7 on this one as well.
7 and 7, yeah.
I think, I might give this one an 8.
Oh.
I kind of like it. I like them both a lot. And I don't know that I actually, if you put a knife to my throat.
Whoa.
that I would be
pull
like,
up your vines.
if you really were like, show me.
Pull up your vines.
Yeah, and cut off your grapes. That I'm not sure that I would. I don't know if I could give a really solid reason. Other than this one is smoother to me. Okay. It's a little bit smoother.
So you would probably want to finish this one tonight.
Well, it's funny that you say that. I think I would. What would you choose to finish tonight?
You know what? I think I might go with the first one.
Okay, good. When we've got a nice balance, we're going to be like, we're going to be simpatico on that. And you're going to keep your rating 7 and 7.
Yeah, I think I will.
Okay. I think I'll keep mine 7 and 8. But you know what? Frankly, they're both great wines.
They are.
Both really nice and both really, I think are nice wines to have with, I don't know what I'm talking about, but have at a nice dinner, have with friends, etc.
And the price is right.
The price is right. I mean, these would fit in the previous price cap of under $20. So great price. So let's talk about, Carmela, the taste profiles one would expect from Primitivo.
Okay.
In terms of fruit, you're going to get blackberry and black cherry and raspberry and plum and maybe even blueberry. You may get hints of cinnamon or black pepper and sometimes sweet vanilla. And you may get tobacco, licorice, figs, and maybe leather or earthy tones.
Okay.
And sometimes they talk about it like fruit compote. So you were getting that jammy, and so I can see that coming through. And sometimes it's considered a little bit rustic on the finish.
Okay.
And I think sometimes that comes from the high alcohol, that it can feel a little rough. But I would say neither of these felt particularly rough.
I didn't think so.
And they capped out at 14%. So again, sometimes like with the Turleys and the California Zins, you're in 15 and a half range. These are reasonable for a red wine. So let's talk about the Masseria. Wine enthusiast says the nose is simultaneously heavy, fresh, and elegant. Flavors of black cherries, blackberries, and dark chocolate. Undertones of orange peel and stones. These notes reappear on the palate, which is bitter but friendly as acidity rises to the top. But you were getting chocolate.
A little bit.
Vinius says, opens in the glass with dusty black currants, exotic spices, crushed chalk, and violets. The palate has silken textures, ripe wild berry fruits, and a contrasting tinge of sour citrus as licorice nuances saturate toward the close. So we were getting that tartness. They were saying sour, but we had tartness, and we also mentioned licorice. Let's see. Lightly structured, admirably long, sour cherry, pleasant chewiness. I would say more tart. We were getting more tart cherry, but they're getting that sour cherry. The Castello Monaci, the winery said broad, ripe black fruit and spice aromas with notes of pepper, toasty vanilla, and Mediterranean scrub. So we were getting some earthiness. I think that's what they mean.
Mediterranean scrub.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the palate, the wine has a robust, concentrated character, firm structure, and small black fruit and licorice notes. Okay. James Suckling said sour cherries, sultanas. Do you know what a sultana is? I'm going to look up sultana. Dried grapes. They're dried grapes. Okay.
Kind of like a raisin.
Yep. Dried oranges and sweet spices on the nose. Both of these were getting a lot of orange. I wasn't getting a ton of orange on this. Followed by medium to full-bodied, jammy, and lightly sweet sour palate. We were getting some jamminess for sure on it. Anyway, whatever we got, hopefully if you guys tasted along with us, you taste too. Verdict on Primitivo, Carmela.
Oh, I really liked it. I think it's a good wine. I think it's actually a crowd pleaser wine too.
I agree. I think it's underrated. I think like Puglia, it is not well known enough in America. I think Puglia, to Puglia.
Becoming quite popular.
Well, Polignano Amare is, but parts of Puglia we went to these in Alberobello, but some of these other places we went in Puglia, I'm like, this city is crazy beautiful, and there is nobody here.
Yeah,
like
interesting,
empty. So go before everybody finds it out, and then also go and find some Primitivo, so you can be the cool guy or gal who says, Primitivo is Zinfandel.
Right.
And you can be all like Cool guy.
So cool, cultured, cool guy.
Maybe that'll show up on this week's wine maturity curve. You never know. You never know.
I like that.
All right, Carmela, it's time for us to go. But before we do, we want to thank you very much for listening to us. And if you haven't done so yet, now would be the perfect time to follow or subscribe to our podcast, and also a fantastic time to leave us a nice rating and review. Thank you again very much to everybody who's done that. We love to hear from you. We always respond. Tell us about a wine you'd like us to taste and review. Leave a message for us on our website. DM us. Send us a note at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com. And tell us about some things that you want us to do. But with that, we're going to sign off. So thank you very much again. We'll see you next time. And as we like to say, life is short, so stop drinking shitty wine. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Arrivederci.
And the happy ending at the end of our story. Always think too much. Always drink too much. Always pray too much.